Hello brothers and sisters, and welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be a bit of a sad video today because Friday, August 6th, one of my personal favorite comedians, Trevor Moore, founder of the Whitest Kids U Know comedy troupe, passed away due to injuries suffered from some undisclosed accident. A comedy troupe featuring himself and 4 other comedians. They were picked up by a IFC, who aired them as a sketch show, and that show ran for 5 seasons, following which Trevor would embark on some solo ventures. He released 3 music albums. More recently, he started a talk show on Comedy Central alongside fellow Whitest Kids alum Sam Brown. And I was going to do a video kind of being all gushy and talk about what an impact Trevor had on me personally growing up. And I may still do that because that is true. But the more I thought about it, I don't think Trevor would really want us all to be wallowing in the sadness of his passing. He's made it pretty clear that he would rather we remember him for the joy and laughter that he brought to people's lives. So that's what I'm going to do here today, and I'm going to do that by counting down my top 6 favorite Whitest Kids You Know sketches. And in the spirit of celebrating Trevor here, I decided to narrow it down to the sketches that feature him as the primary character. So with that in mind, I'm just going to let you know right off the bat, I'm not going to be including the Lincoln sketch on this video because I feel like that, in terms of like the driving force of that sketch, I think that's more of a Zach thing than it is a Trevor thing. You know, Zach's obviously the highlight of that sketch as Lincoln, so I didn't want to do Lincoln because I want to primarily focus on Trevor in these sketches, but I thought I'd bring that up because obviously you can't talk about the best Whitest Kids You Know sketches without bringing up the Lincoln sketch. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 6.
I want to do this movie where this guy, he like breaks into the White House and he's going around and he's stealing everything. He has a big bag and he's taking everything off the desk and putting it in the bag. And he goes in the Oval Office and he's taking like ashtrays and lamps and he's putting it in the bag and everything. Then all of a sudden the Secret Service bursts in and they're like, freeze, get down on the ground. You're under arrest for stealing from the President of the United States of America. And the guy just pulls off his mask and he's like, I am the President of the United States of America. And they're like, oh snap. And he's like, you're fired.
Now, after I heard about Trevor's passing, I basically started binge-watching all of the Whitest Kids You Know sketches, and I happened across this little gem, which I had actually forgotten about, but when I rewatched it, it is absolutely hilarious. Now, this sketch is entirely centered around Trevor's performance as a youthful, energetic, and oblivious mailman with all these crazy movie ideas who just decides to walk into the producer's room and start pitching the movie ideas. The sketch is also elevated by the reactions that he gets from Darren, Sam, and especially Zach. Zach does an amazing job, too, here. This shoe throw that he does just out of nowhere absolutely kills me.
Yes!
I also love how the producer's reactions to his ideas start out with a fairly rational reaction to call security on an intruder in their office, and halfway through, without really any explanation, just kind of jump right on board like, oh, yes.
It's gonna get that demographic. Darren, what's that demographic?
Black people.
They're gonna love that idea!
This sketch is an excellent representation of all the Whitest Kids You Know content. It's all over the place, and yet it somehow manages to work. Number 5.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How's everybody doing? Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I'm Jack Kennedy, President of the United States.
Now, this sketch may not be as funny as some of the others on this list, but it is one of my personal favorite sketches that I watched back when I was in high school. It's just got so many nuances and layers to it. Trevor plays Lee Harvey Oswald in this one, and Zach Kreger plays JFK. And it gets off to a great start while Trevor is fantasizing about his shot as if it's a video game, and then he gets interrupted by Sam Brown, who is playing Lyndon Johnson. Yes, we are going there. And I also got to give it up to Timmy Williams here, who's playing Mrs. Kennedy in this sketch. Mrs. Kennedy's primary concern is about Mr. Kennedy freezing the back of his head off. And after getting annoyed to their limits by their respective counterparts, they just randomly break out into a very touching duet about how they should just get along and not murder people, which I could get behind that. Then the sketch ends pretty abruptly with someone else killing Kennedy, and Oswald just runs away. Yep, we are going there too. And I just love Trevor's facial expressions, especially this one, as he gets increasingly more annoyed with Vice President Johnson.
A little breezy today. Just hope you're taking that into consideration. Looks like it's coming from the southeast.
Look, I know where the wind is coming from, okay? I'm a sniper.
And Timmy is also hilarious, as I mentioned, as the annoying wife. And I love the back and forth between Trevor and Sam just in general. This sketch is a bit of a slow build, but I still have fond memories of it, and Trevor is a big reason why. Number 4.
It's Saturday! It's Saturday! 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 It's Saturday!
Now, there isn't a whole lot to say about this one. It's just Trevor running around and screaming, "It's Saturday!" while shooting cars with plastic arrows. It's simple, yet perfect. This is probably one of the more wholesome sketches Whitest Kids You Know ever made too, and I don't think I need to say any more about how much I enjoy it, other than every single Saturday morning as soon as I wake up, this is the first thing that I watch in the morning. That brings it to its other high point, which has a very high replay value of any other of the sketches that are on this list. I have to be in the mood to watch like JFK or Movie Idea Guy, but I've basically made it a routine to watch this sketch every single Saturday, and for that, it makes the list. The only thing that this sketch is missing is that the wife character is not played by Darren Trumeter in drag. Other than that, though, it's perfect. Number 3.
Open wide, kids, because I'm going to grape you in the mouth! He's going to what them in the mouth?
He's gonna grape him.
One of the more widely known Whitest Kids You Know sketches out there, up there with Lincoln, I think, in terms of popularity. The Grapist contains some of Whitest Kids' patented brand of humor where it makes you uncomfortable, but you also just can't look away from it. The best parts of this sketch, though, is Trevor pretending to be completely oblivious to the obvious implications of making the tagline, "I'm going to grape you in the mouth." And Timmy also does a great job in this sketch interjecting with some hilarious one-liners, and Sam does a great job actually playing the Grapist. But the funniest bits are the subtle things, like the little gasp that Trevor gives when Zach says,
I'm going to tie you to the radiator and grape you?
What?
I'm going to rape you! No, that's what it sounds like he's saying!
Number 2.
Good to see you. Look at you. You look great.
Thank you.
Man, what do you got there?
This is a gallon of PCP.
Wow. A gallon.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm just realizing now that a lot of my favorite Trevor sketches involve him with Zach Kreger, because this is another one of those, and it's just basic back and forth dialogue between Trevor and Zach, and it is hilarious. There isn't really an elaborate premise or a bunch of absurd set pieces, just two guys seeing each other for the first time since college after I think it's 8 years in this sketch, one of whom just happens to be carrying a gallon of PCP. Now, this sketch is hilarious because it really captures the awkwardness of having a conversation with someone you haven't been in touch with for such a long time. And the punchline of this sketch, if you will, is that one of the parties can tell you literally anything, like you just have a gallon of PCP, and this is the response that you're just automatically going to give.
A gallon.
Yes. Yeah.
That's illegal, right?
Yeah, it's a felony.
It's a felony.
Yes.
Wow. And here you are with it anyway. That is wow.
And the dialogue just continues to escalate the absurdity with every line, and I love how Trevor, despite sounding so obviously uncomfortable, still tries to carry on as if it's a normal conversation.
I didn't even know it came in liquid form.
Science.
Whoa. So do you do a lot of PCP?
Got a gallon.
I guess you do.
Yeah.
Wow.
This sketch is about 3 minutes long. It could have gone on another 5 minutes, and I probably still would have loved it. This is hilarious, and Trevor really elevates it with his reactions and facial expressions. And that was kind of one of Trevor's hallmarks, outside of being a really good writer for the Whitest Kids You Know sketches. He also really had a thing with these facial expressions that made his sketches just so much funnier. Gallon of PCP doesn't really have a punchline either. It just kind of ends naturally like a regular conversation, which I thought was a smart choice, because the punchline is just the gallon of PCP, and then they just kind of ride that, and what more do you need? Alright, so before I reveal my number one pick for my favorite Trevor Moore Whitest Kids You Know sketch, here are a couple honorable mentions that I thought about but just didn't make the cut for the list.
Okay, everybody, who's ready to play?
Wheel of Money!
Okay, I've just been informed by our legal team that we're not allowed to chant the name of the show that way.
Hi, I'm Trevor Moore, and I just saw the hit documentary Supersize Me, where filmmaker Morgan Spurlock ate nothing but McDonald's fast food for 30 days to see if it really is healthy to live on such a diet. Well, today, I'm going to try the exact same thing, except with whiskey.
You see, everything worthwhile takes sacrifice. You'd be good to remember that. You can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
More coffee, sir?
And now, without further ado, number one.
Please! It hurts so bad, I don't want to die.
Okay, look, we've got to get him medical attention. I'm the one who shot him.
Whoa, 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 Bob! Admission of guilt! Ixnay on the I'm the one that shot him, eh?
So, Hunting Accident has a special place in my heart. I have so many fond memories of this sketch from when I first watched it back in high school. I actually showed it to one of my friends, and we would actually reenact and sometimes improvise our own dialogue as Bob and Jerry from this sketch. With that particular friendship, I think it's safe to say that the entire foundation of our relationship was this sketch and Gabriel Iglesias stand-ups. But as for the sketch itself, Trevor just 100% carries the comedy on this thing. He owns absolutely 100% of the one-liners, the punchlines, and his acting is impeccable. I absolutely love his accent in this sketch with the drawn-out vowels at the end of his sentences, and just the matter-of-fact way that he talks about potentially murdering a person well within earshot of that very person.
Help! Jesus!
Uh-oh, Bob, he's getting Jesus involved. Better hurry. It takes Jesus 4.5 seconds to get to Earth.
All right, shut up, all right?
I think it's a hilarious sketch. I continue to rewatch it to this day, and it's further elevated by the fond memories that I have from it from a simpler time in my life. So that's about it. Those are my top 6 favorite Whitest Kids You Know sketches that primarily feature Trevor Moore. Rest in peace, Trevor. You will be sorely missed, and I want to thank you for all the laughs and smiles that you have brought into my life over the years. When I first stumbled across the Whitest Kids You Know, I was going through a very dark period in my life. I was extremely depressed. I was lashing out constantly at my friends and family. And the Whitest Kids You Know sketches always made me laugh or smile whenever I had a bad day and just really needed a good chuckle. It wasn't the only thing that got me through that time of my life, obviously, but it definitely helped. So for that, Trevor, I want to personally thank you. And I also want to offer my prayers and condolences to Trevor's family, as well as the rest of the Whitest Kids You Know cast, who are pretty clearly and deeply shaken by this tragedy. I imagine they were all very close to Trevor, so I just want to give them my best and offer my condolences to them. I would also like to invite you to please comment below what your favorite Whitest Kids You Know sketch is. I would love to hear from you on that. Let's all look back fondly on the memories that Trevor gave us and honor his legacy together. And I think I will just leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a blessed week, and we will see you in the next video. I'm still working on that outro.